What's going on, everybody? It is I, the one and only Yerk Skywalker. Hope you guys are having a great day today. So, before I begin this Bad Batch review, let me just make something clear about something that happened in regards to this episode and the first episode of the Bad Batch politically. Now, again, I'm not going to give a point on my side. I'm just going to stay out of it because I don't even want anything to do with it. I just personally, I am just tired of all this stupid Disney Star Wars crap. Both sides, both, like, people in the Phantom Menace, most of them are pretty nice people from what I've heard, or at least good people, and then the Disney shills and the SJW crowd, I cannot stand either. Mainly, I can't stand the Disney SJWs and the people that Disney decides to bend the knee to. I am so freaking tired of Disney ruining Star Wars because they decide to bend the knee and they want to get rid of the true Star Wars fans like me in place of SJW blue-haired trolls on Twitter that are unhappy, never can be satisfied, miserable cucks. That's what they are, and that's all they'll ever be. You're wasting your time, Disney and Lucasfilm. You're wasting your damn time trying to shill to these cucks on the internet, wherever they may be, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat. They don't care about your stuff, so quit shilling to them. Now, I'm not going to go into the full thing. You want to go look that up and what they did with the look up Bad Batch controversy, you be my guest. I'm staying out of it. And also, I will. What I'm going to talk to you guys about is this, and this also goes into why I like Omega as a character so far. We'll see what happens. And I will be honest with you, this second episode was okay. It's not an S tier like the first one was. The first one was absolutely phenomenal. Now, obviously, with Star Wars seasons, like even like The Mandalorian, the first episode of The Mandalorian was kind of, honestly, it was okay. The second episode is when it got better. For the first season, for the second season of The Mandalorian, the first episode was phenomenal, and then the second episode was kind of it was okay. It was meh. Same thing goes with the Bad Batch. The first episode was absolutely phenomenal of the Bad Batch. The second one, it's decent. It's decent. But it's not like, I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but it is a solid, decent episode. I would give it like a C, a high C. I would say it's at least a C tier. And they slow it down because they are building up, they're trying to build some relationships now. Like, you know who these characters are, you know who we're going to be focusing on. Now they're focusing on building the relationships of these characters, especially with the Bad Batch building the relationship, especially between the Bad Batch and Omega, the last clone ever cloned. And the difference between her and all the other Jango Fett clones, including the Bad Batch, is she's a female clone. She's a female clone of Jango Fett, the original bounty hunter, who Boba Fett is cloned after, for those that don't know. If those that know who Boba Fett is, he's the bounty hunter in the original trilogy that is beloved by all fans, or at least a lot of the Star Wars fan base. He's a clone of his father, Jango Fett, who made the clone army that serves the Republic during the Clone Wars. And they're all clones of him, of Boba Fett's father, Jango Fett. Now, Omega is a female clone, whereas all the other clones are all male. They're all exact clones of the male Mount Mandalorian bounty hunter, Jango Fett. So, it's very unique and it's interesting where they're trying to turn with this. I don't know where they're going to take it, and I hope they don't lead into the sequels, or I should say the Disney fanfiction trilogy, because it's not canon. But anyway, people are starting to say that Omega is a Mary Sue, and I'm like, why? Because she shot shot Crosshair sniper out of his hand with a DC-15, which she has never shot before in her life, just because she got lucky? And I can say, there's no such thing as luck. It's like, okay, fair enough. But we say it as a term of, wow, that was, you did get, lucky. But I don't think that really classifies her as a Mary Sue automatically just because she does everything, but she doesn't do everything right. She makes a mistake in this episode, which I'm going to get into here in a little bit. And, she causes some, turmoil, not serious, but, causes some emotional stressful turmoil for the Bad Batch, especially Hunter. And but I don't think she's perfect. Now, if they do end up making her perfect, well, that's a problem. And that was the problem with Rey, is she's the most unlikable protagonist. But also because Rey was boring, dude. Rey had no emotion. Rey was boring. Say what you will, if you like Rey and you like the sequels, I'm not going to knock you the same way people that hate the prequels that I know, they don't knock me because I like the prequels. They just don't like them. And yes, I do know people that don't like the prequels. And I'm fine that they don't like the prequels. It's not for them. It wasn't for them the same way the sequels weren't for me. But anyway, and again, I wanted to like the sequels. But before I go into this now, I just want to be perfectly clear. Rey is, as far as we know, Omega's not a Mary Sue just because she does a few things right. Okay, big freaking whoop, guys. Like, the people that in the Phantom Menace that are saying that she's a Mary Sue, and the people on the SJW side that are not satisfied with her because they're so-called whitewashing the Bad Batch. You know what? Jango Fett is a white man. I'm sorry if you don't like that. I'm sorry that you don't like white men, and I'm sorry that you have been fed this leftist political lie. Get over yourselves. That's all I can say, and I'm not going to go any farther than that. God bless all of you, and may the Force be with you. Let's get into this now. The main meat and potatoes of why we're supposed to be here. And you can skip ahead to this point if you don't care about the rant. I'm going to put that in the description, so I would definitely check the description. I'll probably put read description as in the title. Anyway, let's get into this review. So, the episode, like I said, Bad Batch, episode 2. It's only a half hour. It's much shorter than the first episode, which is understandable. I mean, that was just to really set the stage, a real big stage for the galaxy. Because we haven't really in canon, other than a little bit of Jedi Fallen Order, and obviously, like, not even live action wise and animation wise, we have not seen all the stuff that happens in the big gap that is the 19-year gap between after the events of Revenge of the Sith before Episode 4 A New Hope. It's a huge 19-year gap. So you have to understand that. That causes... We've not seen anything like that before in live action or animation. So this is going to be setting the stage for a lot of stories. They want to... Disney and Lucasfilm, or at least the people that actually care about Star Wars at Disney and Lucasfilm, they want to, you know, like Dave Filoni, for example, and Jon Favreau, they want to, you know, build in these gaps. The animation, they're building a gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, in the way that the Expanded Universe did a long time ago before Disney purchased Star Wars from George Lucas. Anyway, I'm not going into that. So, it starts off, Hunter and Echo, Tech, Wrecker, and Omega, they're all on the ship. They're in hyperspace. They're heading to meet an old friend of theirs who is in a section known as J-19. If you guys don't know what that is, well, in Clone Wars Season 2, Obi-Wan Kenobi is tracking General Grievous on J-19, which is the planet of Seleucami, which eventually falls and then is regained at the end of the Clone War during the events of Revenge of the Sith. It's mentioned by Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith that Seleucami falls, but then was regained after the war ended when Obi-Wan defeated General Grievous. Order 66 was issued, and Palpatine declared the Galactic Republic, turned it into the Galactic Empire. Okay, so Omega and Wrecker fall asleep, and Echo asks Hunter, what are we going to do with her? She's a child. Like, we don't want to risk her life. So Hunter starts thinking about that, and then they land on Seleucami. So now their old friend is a deserting clone whose name is Cut Lawquane. Now, if you don't remember who Cut Lawquane is, he takes care of Rex in Season 2, whenever Obi-Wan Kenobi is going after General Grievous on Seleucami, trying to end the war, trying to kill Grievous, because he's the leader of the droid army, or one of the main leaders of the droid army. So Rex gets shot in Season 2, and he has to be taken care of by... He gets taken... They try to find a farm or somewhere. Jesse and the other clones try to find a place for him to be, and they find a Twi'lek woman named Sue, La'Quane. That's where Cut the clone obviously got his name because he was a clone, and they don't really have names. Technically, they had nicknames, but they didn't have actual names. They were really, to the Kaminoans, they were, and to even people in that ran the Grand Army of the Republic that were normal humans, they just went by numbers a lot of times. Or just, hey, Sergeant, Private, get over here. Whatever. Anyway, so Rex meets a deserting clone named Cut La'Quane, and, they save each other, and he obviously Rex doesn't turn him in because he knows that his heart is in the right place, and he realizes that there's more to life than, for a clone, than just being a soldier. There can be more to life, and that's what Cut La'Quane showed Rex in that episode. As well as also having Rex help him protect his family whenever the ninja droids land near his house and are woken up whenever Cut La'Quane and Sue's kids wake them up by accidentally running into the ship and initiating their activation. Anyway, so they get to the house. Wrecker steps on a booby trap, and sets off fake battle droids. And then, of course, Sue hears him opening fire. She comes out there along with Cut. They have weapons. Cut goes, "It's been a while, fellas." And I think that's really cool because it's been a while since... It's not even just a nod to the clones, it's a nod to the audience because we haven't seen Cut La'Quane since Season 2. That was all the way back in 2009, 2010 era. I think it was even 2009. Or even, it was a long time ago. Let's just put it that way. It was Season 2. That's a long, long time ago. I was a boy when that season came out. So, but it's nice to see him. You can see, what I love the touches of the animation is that, I'll just give an example here before I go into that. Obi-Wan Kenobi in Season 7 has the gray marks here because in Episode 3, they gave Ewan McGregor, gray marks as a symbol of... It's a foreshadowing that he's gonna start looking a lot older, and when we see him in A New Hope, he's gonna look old, even though he's only 57. He's gonna look a lot older, and it's a foreshadowing all the stress of the war, and Anakin, and everything that is gonna happen, and that's what also ages him as also the twin sons. But it's a foreshadowing to that, and I love that we saw that in Season 7 of Clone Wars, Obi-Wan having the gray mark, instead of it just being all orange like it normally was. But, so, he has, Cut La'Quane has this gray mark through his hair, and I think that shows a sign of, hey, it's been some time for him, and he's obviously, aging, and some clones may age a little bit faster, look-wise than others. And I think that's a really nice touch, because it shows that even though the clones are all of the same person, the clones are all the same DNA, they are very different people, and they age different things, and they have different personalities, and they are unique, and they're not all just cookie cutters, like they were in the prequels to a certain extent. As we saw them anyway. So, they go inside, Omega Reets, their kids come inside, they hug Wrecker, because Wrecker's the fun uncle clone, and I think that's really nice. And then they take Omega outside, and it's funny, because when they get to when they land on the planet, she goes outside, and she's never seen the sun before. Remember, you have to remember, she lived on Kamino all her life. So she's only seen rain, storms, and clean medical facilities that are just shiny, chrome, futuristic white. But now she's seeing browns and greens and the sun, and she dances around in the dirt because she thinks the dirt is so cool because she's never seen it before. And it's like a toddler when they first, see something new that they've never experienced. And it's just cool to see. Now, that's where I see a similarity to Rey whenever they go to Takodana, and she says, "I've never seen this much green in the whole galaxy." And then Han's just like, "You do not get out much, apparently." Because she'd never seen it. Now, I do like that similarity. That is one similarity I do like. I think that is nice to see that in a character. I think it's cool when a person experiences something new and they're just amazed by this new experience that they're, going through. Cut La'Quane talks about Rex and how he passed through the day before the Bad Batch got there. And he said that the storm was on the way. He told Cut about how the clones executed the Jedi, and that he warned them about the storm, and that Cut mentions clone troopers are already landing on this place, they're taking it over, and they've taken over the entire spaceport, and they've basically become, at this point, the clones have officially become the first batch of Imperial stormtroopers. Now, and that is also partially why people are saying their aim is off, and their aim is very much off. They can't really shoot to save their lives at this point now. They are very, they walk in a line. They're very robot-like. They're not as sentient as they once were, because the inhibitor chips has made them more aggressive, more violent, and more, they're just brutal, unsympathetic machines now. And that's what George Lucas was always talking about, is like, we have to be careful that we do, as people, do not be, as a race of human beings, that we do not become like machines, that we do not let ourselves become unsympathetic and uncaring. We have to be able to be willing to be kind and to be understanding and to work through these things. And, always give and be good and be kind and give and not care about ourselves and be selfless. And a lot of the themes in this episode are also definitely about family, because Hunter and Omega form a relationship. She starts playing with a ball, and she's never played a ball before, because again, she hasn't really played. She's been working. She's been a medical assistant to Nayla, who is one of the Kaminoan medical expert on Kamino. You see her also, I think, throughout the Clone Wars. There's medical bays that are near Kamino, near the Rishi Maze, all that good stuff. And she obviously helped Omega, escape with the Bad Batch to protect her, because obviously there's some sort of purpose. And I don't think the Kaminoans really like the Empire, to be honest with you. Just watch the first episode. I think you can see that they really do not like the Empire, but they're kind of in the middle. They're not really going to make a decision to whether or not they are going to rebel against the Empire yet, or what they're going to do. So Cut then tells them, yeah, we have to get off world, because they're going to, look for me. And if they see me, they're going to know I'm a deserter and I'll be arrested. And then they go to Hunter and, oh my gosh, Hunter and Cut go to the spaceport in Saleucami. And he tries to give this one person credits to get on a transport. And she said, well, unfortunately, you're going to have to get your chain code. That's a new galactic policy. You literally see a hologram, and it says, thanks to our generous new galactic empire, you can exchange your invalid currency for Imperial credits. It's like, oh yeah, that's generosity, all right? Just change the currency, why don't you? Thanks a whole freaking lot, Empire. I would be mad if that was me. I'd be like, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the shaft. But, this is the change that we're seeing. The clones are no longer kind. They're no longer, caring. They're just mindless, unsympathetic, cruel robots, pretty much. Droids at this point. They're pretty much no better than droids. I mean, they are people. You have to understand, they are still people. They are flesh and blood. But they think and they act no more like machines at this point, because they don't care about people. They literally push a guy down because they won't let him on a passport. Now, people are saying, you know what? No, I'm not even going to go into that. No, I'm just not. I'm staying out of it. I'll talk about it later. I'm not talking about it right now. I'll go into it when the series is over. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe not. I'm apolitical. Let's just move on. So they go back to the house and they try to figure out, Hunter even says, we can take you where you want to go. And it's like, Cut says, no, you're wanted, man. We can't do that. Then the kids run in and you realize that Omega goes and hops the fence and to get the ball, because she threw it poorly and it landed outside the fence, and a Nexu is walking right towards her, a wild Nexu. Now, if you don't know what a Nexu is, the Nexu is the spider-eyed tiger-like creature that gives Padme the scars on her back in the Pentraki arena in Attack of the Clones. It's the thing that the Reek with the thing with the 3 horns kills, so Padme can jump down and jump on Anakin's bull-like creature known as a Reek, and to go help Obi-Wan is being attacked by the spider-like creature known as the Acklay. So you guys know. So yeah, the Nexu is coming closer to her. So Cut's wife, Sue, who's a very good, excellent marksman sniper, starts shooting at it. It gets going away. Hunter starts knifing at it and keeps his hand back on Omega. So you see that he wants to protect her, but he doesn't know how fully to be a father. He's not really a father figure. He's been a soldier his whole life. Whereas Cutler Queen was only a soldier for like a few days in the Battle of Geonosis, and then his thing got shut down, and he decided, I didn't want to be just left to die, so I deserted, and I found a way off the planet, and I started a new life for myself, this is the life I've chosen. And then I think it's nice because you see then what Cut does is he goes over to Omega and he goes, You don't need to yell, Hunter. Like, you yelling at her, she's not a soldier. You can't just yell at her. She's a kid. She didn't mean to. The important thing is she's safe. And then he goes, are you all right? Let's take a look. Are you hurt? And then she hugs him because she says, I'm sorry, I didn't know. So people that say she's a Mary Sue, let's go back to that for a quick second. Okay, I get it. Rey had emotions in the Disney fanfiction trilogy, but here's the thing: she's still boring compared to Omega. Who, I mean, yeah, I don't really know her that well, but I mean, Omega's already showing me more depth and more character, and she's not perfect. She does make mistakes. She is not perfect. She cannot escape on her own. There is some luck to it, but at the same time, she's not perfect. She has issues. You see her later on, she's sniffling and kind of crying and upset because she's away from home and she feels bad that she feels like, oh, I made a mistake and I'm going to be discarded. Like she feels lost. She's been taken away from Kamino, which is all she's known all her life. And yes, she wanted to go with the Bad Batch, but that's all she's ever known. And now she's just thrown into this world of confusion and she's just kind of scared. And it's a lot for a kid. I mean, if you were in her shoes, I mean, you guys would be scared too. I would be scared. I would be stressed. And I know what it's like. I can relate to her in that way because I know what it's like to be worrisome and stressed about your parents feeling like you feel like your parents are not going to love you because you did something wrong when you're a kid. Because you feel like you're not forgivable. But you are. Your good parents love their kids and they help them through their issues no matter what. And you always love them. Family always loves each other. It might be hard and you might go through some hard times. And you might lose some trust and respect sometimes when you do bad things or when you make mistakes in this area or whatever. But you always love family. That's what I was raised to believe. You always love family, no matter what. You never give up on them. They just have to seek your help, and they have to be willing to be helped. That's the bottom line when there's issues. So then they go to the space portal together as a family. Cut, Sue, his kids, and the Bad Batch. They go there. But before they do that, Echo decides, let's get our ship impounded, because earlier, Hunter and Cut see that these Republic ships and other ships are getting impounded because now they're going to get ready for the new Galactic Empire ships that are being molded, which also ties into Jedi Fallen Order with Republic ships that Cal Kestis worked on and helped destroy and scrap in place of the new Imperial Star Destroyers. Anyway, so Hunter's not very happy that Echo called the Seleucami impounding place at the spaceport in Seleucami to impound their Bad Batch's ship. Now, they're hiding up above, and of course the clones don't check, like the dumb stormtroopers don't check the Millennium Falcon to see for life forms in A New Hope. So then Echo sneaks by, gets the chain codes, duplicates the codes, so that way Cut and his family and Omega can go, because Hunter talks to Cut and Sue early and saying, she needs to go with you. It's not safe for her. We can only do so much for her. I think it'd be best if she went with you. And I understand where he was coming from. Like, I mean, I would probably say, no, you listen, I need you to go with them. It's better for you to go with them. We'll miss you, and we wish you the best, and hopefully we'll be able to find you sometime and be able to see you, but we want you to be safe. And I think I would make her go. Like, no, you need to go. I know you want to come with us, but we need you to go. I need you to go. I don't want you to get hurt. I would never be able to forgive myself if you got hurt or something God forbid something happened to you. And I would even say that as someone who's been a father figure for someone, I know, and someone who's also about to be an uncle. I'm going to be an uncle in November. You can genuinely care about children. My ex, her daughter. I mean, when I was in a relationship with my ex, her daughter, I absolutely love and adore, and I still love and adore, and I pray for her every day, and I absolutely wish her the best, but I always did my best to make sure that I bonded with her, and, made sure she was okay. When she was crying, I always tried to hug her and give her kisses, and cuddle and say, I love you, you're okay, everything's gonna be okay, and I always was trying to help her out with that, and I am very thankful for that experience in my life, because it's helped make me a more compassionate man towards children, because children, if a kid was crying when I was in high school, oh my gosh, I could not freaking stand it. No, yeah, still sometimes it's still annoying, but you just learn to deal with it. So, as someone who's been a father figure to a certain extent and is going to be an uncle, and someone who's, done that and, bonded with children in that way and loved on children, I think it's very important that you help them understand why you make these decisions for them and why they, why you make these tough decisions for them when they don't want to do it, and why it is this way. You have to give them reasons. And Hunter doesn't really do the best job of that, even though he says it's what you need to do whenever he tells him that. She says, "Oh, you made 5 codes by mistake," and said, "No, you're going with them because I need you to go with them because it's best for you to go there." And then Omega's kind of like, she doesn't want to go. She's like, "I want to go with you," and that melted my heart right there when she's like, "But I want to go with you," and that melted my heart. That melted my heart right there, guys. That melted my heart. Now again, when I brought up the thing about my personal life, I'm not going to bring that up a whole lot, but I'm just giving you examples to relate to the episode as to the themes. And it does also go back to George Lucas's theme. One of the biggest themes in Star Wars is family. The Skywalkers. Vader is redeemed. Anakin Vader is redeemed by his son. And the love that his son had from the sacrifice that Luke was willing to commit because he was not going to kill his father and join the Emperor and say, "I am not going to join the dark side. I am not going to join you. I will die by my father, and I will die before I kill my father and join you. I will not join you. And there's nothing you can do about it because I am a Jedi like my father before me, and I will not have his same fate." And then Vader is redeemed by that, and in the love that his son has, and Vader doesn't want to lose anymore. He's already lost everything else. So that's why he saves his son, because he's redeemed by the love that his son has. And that's the theme that is so strong in Star Wars. And I think that is important that we see that in the Bad Batch. Because Hunter and Omega, when they finally do escape, because then the clones, see Wrecker bop them on the heads, because earlier, when Omega sneaks out to get the codes to Cut and Sue and their family, she bumps into an astromech droid, which starts going off sirens. Wrecker comes over and bashes it on the head and knocks it and destroys it. And then he says, "You better get going, better get the codes to them." Then these clones see him and they go, "Hey, what are you doing, your citizen?" And then he takes his hand and goes, "Oh, there's nothing in this hand. Oh, there's nothing in this hand." And then he bops their heads together, all three of them. And then these other clones that were walking by see him. They start opening fire on him. And then he starts running towards them. And then Echo and Tech are like, "Well, this just got a whole lot worse to get our ship unimpounded." And then Wrecker gets their ship unimpounded by using his strength. They start having an opening fire. Sue looks back to Omega when they're getting on the ship because they get cleared to go on the ship to off-world. And she goes, "Are you okay? Are you ready?" And then you know that Omega's going to say, I want to go with the Bad Batch." And I kind of knew she was going to go because we've seen trailers, obviously, too, of her doing other things that we haven't seen yet in other episodes. So, I mean, she could have gone with them and then we could have seen her again anyway. But anyway. So they're opening fire. Hunter gets there, starts blasting, and they said, "Where's Omega?" She's like, "She's not coming." And then she said, "Yes, I am. Wait for me." You see her, and then she's running towards him, and then a clone jumps on her and grabs her leg. Not Wrecker. Then Hunter goes for her, saves her, and said, "All right, you're coming with us." And then they get off world. And it's funny because when Cut Lawquane is getting on the ship, he goes, "Halt." This clone goes, "Halt." And he goes like, "Is there a problem, officer?" And he goes like, "You look familiar." And then he goes, "We need to help with the compound. We're getting open. We can't stop these guys." And then the clone looks back at Cut again and goes, "Carry on." You knew he was gonna almost get arrested, so Cut Lawquane barely got away. And I'm just like, holy crap, dude. Holy crap. You're lucky you made yourself look very different. You are very lucky that they did not, you're very lucky that, there was commotion, because otherwise he probably would have gotten arrested. I'm not going to lie, he probably would have. And it would have been over for him. And there's something else I would say, but we don't need to do that. And then Wrecker, oh my gosh, the names today. Hunter, when they're on the ship, talks to Omega. They have a heart-to-heart and say, "Listen," Omega says, I know I made a mistake, but you don't need to get rid of me. I have a lot to learn, yeah, but I want to help you, and I chose to go off Kamino and stay with you, and that's where I want to be." And names. I'm also very tired. I only got 5 hours of sleep last night, so forgive me. Hunter says to her, "Well, you know what, I made a mistake too, and I'm trying, basically just implies I need to change my life, and we're going to have to adjust some things, and it's been quite an adjustment going from a soldier to a deserter, and, trying to figure out what me and the boys and you are going to do to survive, but if you're willing to learn, and if this is where you want to stay, then this is where you'll stay." And they smile at each other, and, you see Hunter's, he's willing. He has now taken on the role of being her father figure, as well as being the leader of his brothers in the Bad Batch. And then the episode ends. So overall, this episode review of mine has gone a lot longer than the first one. I'll tell you that right now, and I did not intend for that. But there was so much to talk about, and I wanted to be more thorough this time because I felt like even though I was thorough to an extent in the first review I did, I wanted to make sure that this was as thorough as I possibly could because, again, guys, I don't have the resources or the equipment to like show you things or make this quick and make scripts, which again, I'm going to work towards that, especially now that I have a full-time job, which I'm starting at very soon. So I'm going to be able to make some money, and in the next year or so, I'm going to be getting equipment around, and I am going to be making a lot of content. I'm going to be starting a gaming channel, but that's not what this is about. We'll go more into that later of what's going to happen with that. Probably, I would say around New Year, we'll talk about that more so. But yeah, I am going to be getting equipment around in the next year or so. I'm going to be getting equipment around, as well as also being able to put away money for myself so I can, move out eventually and get my own place and, do this and go figure out what I'm going to do. So, along with doing this and trying to make this a career if possible, if not, I'm fine with this just being a hobby or something I do occasionally. I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy talking about Star Wars. I absolutely love it. Even if I don't get that many views, I love talking about it and showing it to my family. And I love it. This is something I've loved doing for a long time, and I'm very passionate about it. But overall, it was a very solid episode. It was not as good as the first one. That first one was phenomenal, but it was meant to be, a slower episode, is to build relationships, build the family dynamic that we see in other forms of Star Wars, especially the Skywalker films, and I'm not talking about the Disney fanfiction trilogy. Yeah, there are themes of family, but dude, it's so much weaker, and it's overrun by identity politics, and Disney's, garbage. It doesn't even matter. Mainly 1 through 6, Clone Wars, Rebels, even Rebels has good themes of better themes of family than the freaking Disney fanfiction trilogy that people and Disney especially want you to consider canon or call canon. Well, it's not canon, Disney, but keep crying about it. You done fricked it up. But at least you can be canon on your own timeline, known as the Kathleen Kennedy timeline. That's not much better. You fricked up. Quit damage controlling. And that's another thing I'll get into another time. We'll see. I'm going to finish the Bad Batch series of reviews as the episodes continue to come out, and then we'll talk about, even though it's going to be not as relevant at that point, we'll talk about that, because I definitely want to talk about that. But that's another topic for another time. This video went way longer than I did. I hope I covered everything okay. They got off, they got there. You see the family dynamics. You see the mistakes that the characters make. You see Omega, learning to adjust to this new life and, the new experiences and new, things she's experiencing on the planets and, life and, what not to do and what to do. And now being with Bad Batch now for good. And now what Hunter has to do is not just being the leader of his brothers, but taking care of her kind of as a father figure, which I believe he is going to be the father figure. And they're all kind of going to be like her uncles in a way, to a certain extent. And caretakers. But I think Hunter is definitely going to be the father figure. Kind of like a Joel and Ellie thing. At least for the first Last of Us. But anyway, guys. Hope you guys enjoy. I know this episode's long. And I'm gonna do my best to try to, be as thorough as I possibly can. And try to keep the thoughts as, and organized as I can. I think the first episode review that I did was a lot more organized than this. Because I had to organize it more because it was such a long episode and so much happened in it. So much happened in that episode. In this episode, there wasn't as much that happened. But at the same time, I want to be thorough and give you guys all these facts. So if that turns people off to that, to subscribing, I understand that. If you're not into that, that's fine. If you are, I would be more than happy if you guys would share this video. Hit the like button. That helps me in the algorithm. Make sure to also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. And, also I appreciate all the support for all those that are subscribed to me and that do support me and do watch these videos and watch them all the way through. And even give me, feedback in the comments. Even though it's not that often. I want you to know I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. We're going to keep going forward. I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to keep getting better. And next year, for sure, I can guarantee you this, there will be higher quality content than right now, but I'm trying to make sure there's high quality content as best I can. And the next reviews going forward will be, higher quality, and I will try to organize them better in my head. And I might even write down notes the next time, because I'll probably watch the episodes twice from now on. As a matter of fact, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch the episodes twice to make sure that, I have my thoughts organized so I know what I want to talk about and when I want to talk about it. And if I do go on a little tangent, well, I'm going to try not to do that as often. But I have a little more free reign to do that technically, because I'm not doing the Star Wars Theory format or the Stupendous Way format or some of the other formats that are out there where you have Star Wars clips on there, or you have pictures and stuff like that from the movies, or, the shows, whatever. I mean, that's a fine format, and I'm going to do that at some point for certain video topics regarding Star Wars. But no, I want to thank you guys once again for watching. Hope you guys subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video when I upload. And make sure to comment down below what you guys thought of the Bad Batch episode. What do you guys think of Disney right now? Are you guys going to watch the Bad Batch? Are you not? Are you done with Disney Star Wars? What have you been up to? What have you been watching? Any show recommendations? Whatever. Write down whatever you want in the comments down below. Thank you again once for your continued support. This is the day before Mother's Day, so happy belated early Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, including my own mother. Hope you guys have a happy Mother's Day with your moms out there. God bless. Take care. Be safe. And as always, remember, the Force will be with you. Always.